In terms of how the last 6 months went for Afghanistan, one of the main concerns for the international community is the severe abuse of human rights, especially when it comes to human rights of women and children there. So, has it become worse? How is it? Especially because if we recall correctly, right before the Taliban took over, they made a promise that we are Taliban 2.0 and that we are no longer the same Taliban that you witnessed in the 1990s. We are going to change. We are going to respect women's rights.
So, I think my answer to this question is it's still too early to tell what the Taliban are doing. The Taliban right now are trying to consolidate their power as a ruling government. And so they're trying to figure out how to govern. And I think they understood lessons from the past. So I'm not ready to call them Taliban 2.0, but we can talk about what changed from the last time. Recall, 20 years ago, they didn't allow television. They didn't allow women to leave their houses without mahram, without a male accompaniment. They didn't allow girls to go to school. They banned music. Men had to grow beards and so forth. So we haven't seen them do this. And I think they understand that society has changed. And in order for them to rule more effectively, especially to reduce the role of violence. So if they want to impose those rules, they're going to have to use coercion to do that. And I think they understand that they don't want to do that. It's too costly for them to do that. So they're going to have to moderate somewhat. So this isn't, I don't think, for ideological reasons. I think this is for very practical reasons, in order to govern, in order to retain control of urban centers, which they have always struggled with. But the question in the long run is that how will they govern once they consolidate their power? And so we have seen the arrest of women's activists, which is quite horrifying. We've seen the arrest of outspoken academics and thought leaders who've been critical of the government. The Taliban has been very clear they don't believe in democracy. They think that this is anti-Islamic. We've seen the Taliban also promise that they would have a general amnesty for people who worked with the government. But we've seen assassination campaigns against former high-level government officials. Just yesterday, I saw a really horrifying picture of a former Ministry of Interior official from Herat province in the West. This is sort of unverified Twitter stuff, but, hanging from a crane. And this sends a real message to people, raises a lot of questions about whether they're serious about this amnesty and how long this will last, and creates a lot of uncertainty. And so I'm not sure that this moderation that we're seeing from them, and it certainly is a sort of moderation from what was 20 years ago, will last very long at all. And we should also say, they've talked about having a more inclusive government, but we don't see any ethnic minorities and any women really part of it in a very serious way.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.